Welcome. In this video you will find out how money and our financial system really works. Most people don't understand this, but rich people and also good investors understand this information very well, and I will not only tell you about money and our financial system in this video, but I will even tell you how you can use this information to grow your wealth effectively. My name is Hamann from H2 Intel, helping you succeed with investing, and let's dive right in. Now, what is money and how does our financial system really work? And how do rich people and also good investors use this information to grow their wealth effectively in the financial markets? I will explain all of this to you in 6 simple steps. Step number 1. What is fiat money? For us today, fiat money means paper notes, currency notes. And those are very useful because you do not have to barter trade. In the old days, when you had meat and I had potatoes, we could just barter trade, meaning we could just exchange those items, and we all have both meat and potatoes, and obviously this is not very efficient, and this is why we have paper currency today. Now, what is fiat money? Fiat stands for paper, and paper implies that the money is not backed by anything really. Now, if you think about the cost of that money, the production cost of a paper note, it is maybe 2 cents, so it really costs almost nothing to print paper money. Now, what gives money its value then? So governments tell you money is legal payment, and we trust the government that they will keep their promise. Unfortunately, history has shown that you cannot really trust governments that much. Now, if we say unbacked paper money, the question arises, has money been backed before? And the answer is yes, it has. Step number 2. What is gold-backed money? In the past, money has been backed by gold. So that means you had paper money, but let's say you had $100 a $100 bill, but you always could redeem that paper currency note and get real gold, physical gold in exchange for that. So this means gold-backed money. Now, why use gold to back paper money? Because in contrast to paper money, which can be printed almost to infinity, gold is scarce. It's a precious metal, and you cannot just print it as much as you want. And it really takes time, energy, and money to dig that gold out of the ground. Now, think about it. First of all, you must find gold. That takes time, energy, and money. And once you found that gold, you must dig for it, and that involves using heavy machinery. The machines use fuel, and they have to be operated by real humans, so they have salaries. So all of this takes time, energy, and money. And even after you dig the rocks out of the ground, you have to crush the rock. You have to refine it. You have to use technology to extract that gold really out of the rock. And all of this takes a lot of effort. Now, what gives gold value? So on one hand, the supply is scarce, the supply is limited. And on the other hand, the demand comes really from people who see gold as a store of value, and that has been true for thousands of years. So US President Nixon in 1971 has abandoned the gold standard. This means from that day on, or that year on, paper money was not backed by gold. It was not gold-backed money. It was just a fiat, a purely paper-based currency. And this is only true for 50 years. So in the grand scheme of things, this is not a very long time period. So really, it's actually quite unusual to just have a purely paper-based money. Rich people really understand money and its history, and they use this information all the time to become good investors or to be good investors. Now, the general population, on the other hand, does not understand this. And then we come to step number 3, issues with fiat money. So what is the problem with unbacked fiat money? Well, we talked about it before. The production cost is really 2 cents. So you can increase the supply of fiat money almost to infinity. So it's very easy to print that money and increase supply. And who can control the supply of money in circulation? Central banks that are indirectly or directly government entities can print money as much as they want. So they have total control over the money supply, and also they set interest rates. Now the question is, what are central banks really doing in practice today? Are they really printing as much money and increasing the money supply regularly, or is this just a rare occasion? And the truth is, yes, they are printing money all the time. So why do central banks print money all the time? And the truth is, the economy is not growing very well. And printing money and supplying that freshly printed money to the economy means that the currency in circulation can flow a little bit better, trade can work a little bit better. So everything is almost like a car engine. You have a little bit more oil, more grease in the engine, so everything flows a little bit better. But this is just a short-term measure, and long-term this does not work. So every time the central bank prints money, it works, but it works less and less over time, so it gets less effective. And in times of crisis, there are absolutely arguments in favor of printing money to just save the economy, save the businesses in the economy, save the workers in the economy, so that no one loses their job, and this makes a lot of sense. But central banks really have abused their power. They should have used this powerful tool of printing money only in very rare occasions in times of crisis, but they really have abused their power. So basically money and the financial system is really broken from within. At the very core, it's broken and corrupt the system. And no one really tells you this. But it almost appears like everything is well, but nothing really is. And that leads us to step number 4, how inflation works. Now, what is the problem for all of us? People that work in the economy, participate normally, what does it mean for us? So money printing can save the economy, can save the jobs, but the problem is, although the economy is saved, the currency is not saved. The currency slowly dies over time by printing a lot of money. And what gives money value? It's really a demand and supply issue, like always in economic terms. This means the demand really comes from the economy for the money itself, and unfortunately the economy is weakening. That means the demand for the money is weakening. On the other hand, we have the supply, and that is controlled by the central banks, and they print a lot of money all the time, so supply goes up while demand gets weaker, and that really means the value of money goes down over time, and that is simply called inflation. So today, if you earn $1,000 or euro, you can use that money and spend it, of course, for example, on a vacation, on buying 1 week of groceries, and maybe fueling your car 5 times. But the value of money goes down, so in 5 years' time, you're not getting the vacation, you only get the groceries and the fuel, but not the vacation anymore. And this really means your purchasing power goes down over time due to inflation and due to the printing of money by central banks. So you and me, the normal citizens, we work hard for our money and we get the money, and then we think everything is okay. We can spend this in the economy and we've worked for it, and that work energy is preserved in that money we earn. But this is not true. So nominally, if you look at the currencies that you have earned, nominally the numbers stay the same on the paper currency, so it looks like nothing has changed. But in reality, that money buys you much less over time. So not only your money was devalued, but your hard work was devalued. And that, in my opinion, is really not fair. It's almost criminal. So all of this gets us to step number 5, why rich people and good investors buy great assets. So this effect of inflation is true for everyone, and everyone that saves a lot of cash or only cash and leaves that cash in the bank, really what happens is an erosion of your purchasing power. And the very definition of an investor is to protect and grow your purchasing power. So the investor does not want to hold large amounts of cash in the bank. Now the question really becomes, what retains the purchasing power? And what retains the purchasing power and grows the purchasing power are really investments. Now investments is real estate, public equity, private equity, can be gold, precious metals, it can be raw wine, it can be whiskey, it can be paintings, it can be Rolex watches. So really everything that is limited in supply. So investments in real assets, like I talked about, really protect your purchasing power, because you cannot just print as much as you want from that, because real estate is limited, gold is limited, and so on. And in contrast, paper currency, you can print as much as you want of it. Please don't get me wrong here. Cash is very important, and it is good to have cash reserves and also keep cash reserves in the bank. That's totally okay. But the problem is you do not want to keep a lot of cash or the majority of your wealth just in cash and leave it for years and years and years in the bank. So you see, by understanding money and how our financial system really works, you already know as an investor what to do. You sell the cash and you buy the assets. And that is what all rich people and investors are doing. They buy assets continuously, always. And that is how they protect and grow their purchasing power. And protecting and growing your purchasing power, this is really the definition of an investor. And all of this leads us to step number 6, why in today's world everyone needs to become an investor. So in a normal, fair world, actually, if you work for the money, if you earn that money and you put that cash into a bank, that should be already enough. Not everyone should need to become an investor, but this world is not fair, it's not normal, it's abnormal. And because of that, in my opinion, it's really important that everyone invests, because in a world where central banks can just manipulate the supply of money as much as they want, you need to do something about this, because otherwise your money is buying you less and less over time. So it really does not matter if you're rich, if you're poor, if you have a high-paying job or low-paying job. Investing in today's world is very important to protect yourself and protect your wealth and your hard-earned money. But please look at the bright side. With this information, you know already much more than most people, and you can use that information and apply it in your own life to improve your situation and grow your wealth. And many YouTubers, influencers and marketers, they can maybe tell you the broad definition of a central bank, the theory behind it, and that is all well and good. But as an investor, I really want to know what is the essence of information. What will get me real investing results? And when it comes to investing, only rich people and good investors can tell you this, because they get in practice real results. Their bank accounts go up almost always. So I hope this information was really valuable to you, and I wish you all the best. Until next time, happy investing. Thanks.